Okay, hello. I hope that we will have internet connection. Um, yeah, yes, I am going to talk about Epstein files again, and I'm going to. It's going to be a little bit of a rant this one because it's been a few days since this batch of files was released, and people have been searching and reading, and more awful things are surfacing. I mean, it's truly horrific. And while you could argue that we don't have proof yet, I think it's very naive. It's if you want to, let's just call this for what it is. It's obvious. We have an elite, so that's a group of people, and they either have a complete lack of empathy and morals, or they have a twisted version of morals. Um, they are evil, and they are running the show and making decisions that affect your life in a big way. Um, I'm not going to use stupid words for, let's say, suicide and killing. I'm just going to say things as it is. I will not be censored by any fucking social media platform like YouTube. I will say it as it is. And if YouTube again wants to demonetize and all of that, go ahead. I don't care anymore. It is time to tear down the elites. They are bad people, and that's the best thing I can say about them. I could say that they are perverted, evil, murderers. Now, I don't know how to navigate life moving forward. I don't have the answers to how we are going to tear down the elites. I do not, I want to make this very clear. I do not want to make anyone out there think that we should go out and use violence. I'm sure you understand that I can't say that here on social media. That would get me in trouble with the police, like they would put me in jail. Uh, f- which is funny because these people who are on photos in the Epstein files leaning over children and being mentioned, some of them thousands of times, like both men and women, they were into this, all of them, like the Norwegian crown princess Mette-Marit. It's obvious she had a past with cocaine and all sorts of sex, apparently, and she went to Epstein to have some time off from her, life, her taxing life as the Norwegian crown princess. Bill Gates, long-time friend, and into all of this with Epstein, and they collaborated on how to set up a whole system for vaccines, um, before the pandemic. I don't like to use the word pandemic, but the COVID crisis. Um, uh, Donald Trump, obviously, and the horrific things that are in the files about Donald Trump and many of these big CEOs in these huge companies. These are things that, and I sometimes put it like this, we're all human and we can make mistakes and so on. And let's say if some guy is having an affair, and that's within what we would call human. He made a mistake. Okay, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it's not criminal, and these things happen. But that's not what we are talking about here. We're talking about people who are engaging in horrible, horrible things, raping children. You remember Pizzagate, and how mainstream media, they were laughing at the rumors that the elites were raping children. They're not laughing now, are they? Fucking bastards. They should be ashamed of themselves. And I myself, I will admit that I had doubts about that. I thought it sounded a little bit too far out. But now we are seeing that, yeah, apparently that's what they're doing. Elon Musk, who else? Peter Thiel. All of these people are making decisions for you, society, our lives, and it's time now to tear them down. Wow, Klaus, that's an awesome donation. Thank you so much. I absolutely appreciate that. I don't make so much money on these live streams because of YouTube. So that is very, very kind of you. Thank you. Now, I have a video on my main channel that will be uploaded in 13 hours, about 13 hours from now. I hope you will watch it. YouTube will probably hide it. They usually do, because I'm not sensationalist, and I'm not, I'm talking about the Viking Age and primitive living and things like that. I kind of touch upon a better way of life. Now, what I'm going to say here in this live stream is that we can't fully detach from modern society, largely because of the system. Now, I think that those people out there who have been called conspiracy theorists, of course, there are conspiracy theorists out there, like people who think that the earth is flat and that the elites are not human but lizard people and so on. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a system where they all have some dirt on each other, and they seem to put people in positions of power only if they have a combination of pure stupidity. Now, these are not bright people, People tend to think so, but they're not. You don't rise to power because you're talented and bright and intelligent. No. You're stupid, you have a taste for sexual depravity, and you don't really have a lot of empathy. That's what you need. This is very obvious now. And there might be exceptions, but when you look at what these people have been doing, now there are rumors of, in the files there are descriptions of actual cannibalism. You couldn't make this up. Well, people have, Eyes Wide Shut, that movie has been mentioned here, but I mean, it is so bad that most people they can't comprehend it. They can't process this information. And the single thing here that tells us that the system is protecting these people. The single one thing that tells us that is that these people are not being investigated and they are just out walking around doing their thing. I think that if the police had gotten a tip, like someone had called the police and said that, you are murdering people, you killed someone. I think actually that the police would at least have visited you. you know. Um, of course, anyone can make such a claim, and I'm sure there are crazy people doing that. But I once actually got I heard that someone had called the police, telling them that I was doing live streams, telling people that was during COVID, that telling people that they should go out and beat up vaccinated people, which was such a crazy claim that the police didn't even bother to do anything about it, obviously. And if there are anyone in doubt, I've never said such a thing. But these people are in the files, and there are descriptions of things that they have done that would put them in jail for life, or they would, in the USA, I guess they have the death sentence in some states, and they would be put on death row. But nothing's happening. That should tell you everything you need to know. And that one thing that you need to know is that you will never become very wealthy. You will never become part of the elite, if you will. That's probably not a goal, but you will never rise to the top in society, so to speak. And again, I don't want to do that anyway, but they only allow people like themselves to join that club. And the disturbing thing, you could say that they could just be in that club, um, doing things. Now, follow me through here, on this train of thought. Um, as long as they didn't harm anyone, they were just doing the things that they want to do with themselves. But the problem is that they make the decisions that affect your life and my life. Why the hell are we paying taxes, like working half the year, um, for the state, and paying taxes? So if you pay if you pay 40% taxes or 30% taxes, um, effectively you're paying with the VAT. When you buy stuff, you've paid more than 50% taxes, depending on which country you are, in or 60 or 70% taxes. Um, uh, why is it that people can't see how sick that is? Why is it that people can't understand that that system is keeping you down? You're being kept depressed and sick. The food that the slop that they're selling you is not really food, and it's making you sick, and it's making you depressed. Um, I will I hope that you will check out my video that will be uploaded in 13 hours on my main channel. It's linked to in the video description. There is it's the channel that has my name, because I think it's a good video. And I talk about a better life there. Now, I think that this is a shift in our culture. I will try to explain what I mean by that. Um, this is a before and after. This woke people up. Not everyone. You can go on. I as a part of my job, sadly, is as a novelist. This being on YouTube is not my job, but part of my job as a novelist is that I have to be visible on like social media, Facebook, and so on. And I saw that there are lots of people now here in Norway and are there are Norwegian. Norway is for some reason lots of Norwegians are in the Epstein files for some reason, uh, and nobody cares about those politicians. They are corrupt and evil, obviously, but there's a lot of sympathy for the crown princess. She is now being portrayed as a victim. Um, she is not a victim at all. But I think that people, what's going on there is that a lot of people they want to uphold that image of that version of society and the culture and the world we are living in, that lie. That's what they want. They want to believe in that lie. They do not want to believe the obvious fact that she is really just a bad person. She's not a good person at all. Some people just are not good people, and she is not a good person. This is obvious. Now, if I had done 10% of what she has done and what she has been part of, you would have called me a very bad man, as you should. The thing is, I would never do things like that. I would never leave my family on a vacation on a tropical island, paid for by the Norwegian taxpayers, by the way, to go and party with Epstein and probably, use drugs and partake in adultery and all sorts of sexual stuff. That's a guess, but at this point, since these people will never be tried before, in the legal system, we actually have to apply some common sense here. Uh, this is fucking obvious, right? And it's painful to listen to people who are now saying that, oh, we shouldn't judge these people based on what's in the Epstein files because those can just be claims. And the people still think that Trump is innocent and so on. Fucking hell, are you stupid? It's like, and yeah, some people don't like to hear that because you like Trump so much, and you can unsubscribe to this channel. I fucking don't care. It's time that we tear these people down. They must be forever shamed. Any celebrity, any movie star, any musician who's been part of that, don't watch those movies ever. Don't buy that music. Don't stream that music on what's the name, Spotify and those parasitic platforms. Don't do that. Boycott them all. Don't vote for those politicians. Don't use their fucking AI. Don't engage with them in any way, shape, or form, right? And that's about integrity. That's about integrity. If you hate these people, even though you never met them, it means that you have a functioning moral compass. They should be hated. And there are so many examples like this fucking pervert Prince Andrew in in the UK. He's still living in luxury. And there's this photo. He's there on on all fours, hands and knees, leaning over this. It looks like not. I wouldn't say that's a woman. That's a girl, like a child on the floor. His pupils being dilated like you know, big as fuck. Why is he not in jail? In the UK, if you write something like along the lines of um, I don't like, and then you can put some ethnic group there, the police will uh, talk to you, and if you continue doing that, they will put you in jail. If you criticize the government too much, if you are active on social media about how the immigrants are criminal and all of that, they might put you in jail. That's not okay, but apparently raping children are okay because Prince Andrew is not in jail. So, I mean, these people must not be respected. They must only be hated. And I'm serious about that. I mean, that child on the floor there under that middle-aged fat man, the Prince Andrew, the pervert, that girl is someone's daughter, you know? Now, if she's still alive, traumatized for life, what would you have done if you saw that was your daughter and you came into that room and you saw that? What would you have done to Prince Andrew? I think we all, if we all understand, it would have been a violent encounter, right? As it should be. There are stories about or witnesses there in the files describing how they were. You might want to click off this live stream now because it's going to get very descriptive. I'm sorry, but um, it's disturbing. The following will be a little bit disturbing. Okay, um, there are descriptions of how these people were killing babies and eating them. Now, you could say that that's just something that someone said. Um, there are descriptions of drinking blood, um, and apparently it has something to do with the victims being very scared as they are killed, and that pushes a lot of adrenaline into the blood flow, and that apparently is seen as gives these people a kick, a certain high or something like that. Um, Again, this does not have, as far as I know, so far there is no photo evidence of that. Um, but these stories there are so many of these stories now, and they seem to follow a pattern, and that's the same pattern as the stories about, for instance, the crown princess in Norway. There is a pattern here that I seem to recognize, and when something follows that pattern, I am inclined to think that there is some truth to it. Um, not since the height of the COVID crisis have I been this worried about being completely shadow banned, and for saying this. And um, what I mean by shadow banned is not YouTube shadow banned. I'm already YouTube shadow banned, so that's, you know, that's just how they run their business. But as an author as well. But there are some things that it's our duty to talk about this. It's our it's an obligation. I feel it's an obligation. um, Barbara, don't you heard those same things about pagans? No, don't make this a Christian thing, Christian versus pagan thing. Don't do that, please. It's just I will. You are a supporter of this channel here as a member, so yeah. But that's not true. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, it doesn't have to do. And I don't think it has to do anything about with your religion. It it these things have probably always happened in all cultures and all religions. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with a system of so I heard it described like this. I can't remember the name now, but it was a Holocaust. No, it was not the Holocaust. I think it was the Eastern Europe. When they were kept down there in the Soviet era. Um, a book, and I can't remember the title, but he described what he had seen, and he said that in a culture or a society, what seems to happen, and this is also the reason for the downfall of any civilization, is that no need to apologize, Barbara. Sometimes I don't see the context, so it's all fine. Um, in a culture or a civilization starts declining when too many bad people rise to positions of power. You can think about ancient Rome, Caligula, and positions of power or power itself seem to attract sociopaths and extreme narcissists. We can clearly see that now. We saw it during COVID. We are seeing it now. We have an extreme narcissist being president in the USA. We have a completely anti-democratic, anti-people system in the EU. They don't care about you, and they don't care about any democratic process. We have like this unholy coalition between big tech and big government, big state, big pharma, big media. And these people on the top there seem to be, when you listen to them and you know what to listen for, they seem to be, most of them, extremely lacking of empathy. You can tell that when they are talking about people, when they are among people, their behavior is not natural. It is a learned behavior. These people are sociopaths, many of them, some psychopaths, actually. Um, and when that happens, and it has happened before, And there's a reason why I put this, is it called The Fall of Rome? No, it's not. The painting on the thumbnail, uh, it's a, I can't remember the title now. Um, but civilization crumbles when there are too many of those people at the top, and we are at that point now in the West. And there are many things actually that points to our civilization being on its last leg, or it's moving towards the end of our civilization, because maybe the most obvious factor there is the declining birth rates, but also the fact that the distance between the people and and those making decisions are very big now. We have a democratic system, and we vote for people to represent us, but it doesn't change anything. It's like when people they call me up and they want me to change my internet provider or subscription, and it's somehow, when I have done that in the past, I always end up paying more than I did. so, so it's like it's all, the system is rigged, and it doesn't matter who you vote for anymore. I don't think so. Last time here in Norway, I did not vote at all. It won't make much of a difference. But yeah, it's time to tear these people down, and we do that by disrespecting them. We do that by showing our contempt. We do that by boycotting them and everything that they touch. Um, I I believe that there are some of these people that will be reframed by big media. Like I used the Crown Princess in Norway as an example. I will not be surprised if suddenly, like the flick of a switch, all the big media are talking about her as a victim, and now we are to feel sorry for her. I will never do that. I will never have any respect for people like that. I will disrespect them. I will show contempt, and I will do my best to boycott everything that they touch. And if we all do that, they will lose all of their power. Putin, that's interesting. Putin is just part of this. He was one of the young leaders in the World Economic Forum, and rubbing shoulders with all of these other people. Um, the this the big the CEO, what's it called, the guy on the top in the World Economic Forum is a Norwegian, Børge Brende. He took over for Klaus Schwab. So it's no surprise that Børge Brende is also in the Epstein files, and all of that. Funny how it works. And I've never seen Børge Brende as a talented, intelligent man. I think he was put in that position because he was useful there. And people make this mistake. They assume that people in position of power are intelligent. But it's obvious. It's obvious they're not. That's not why they're there. Hold on, I'll just have to sort out the chat a little bit. I'll get to the chat in a second. You need Christ. You want... okay. So, hold on. Yeah. 30 minutes time out for that. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see here. Comment here. I'd say the most intelligent ones in power are the most evil ones. I don't think that they are intelligent at all. Or maybe there are people that we don't know of that are intelligent, but you can't be that smart when you write about what you want to do, with prostitutes. And you use your email and you write to Jeffrey Epstein that you want access to that. Then you if you have such inclinations, you're not being very smart, are you? You know. Yeah, I met some smart people, and they are not like that. Yeah, Barbara says being a scheming person doesn't require intelligence. Underachievers, no mods today, Bjorn. That's tough. They do a great job. Yeah, they do. Would you like to be a moderator here on the channel? Let me know, underachiever, if you would like that. So, okay, I'll see. Hold on, I'll sort that out. Add as moderator. Yeah, now you should be moderator now. Yeah, well, disagreement is okay, but we get some problems here sometimes. We get people who spam the chat with all their Jesus talk. Being Christian is fine, and that's completely fine. But when you start with you'll see it when when you see it, you will know. And obviously, people just being trolls. Disagreement is completely okay. So let's see here. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, okay, we'll get to that again. Yes, comment here. There is a footage of a Mexican model shouting they are eating humans, and she was arrested and never seen again. This took place years ago. Yes. So she was in that system with Epstein, and she vanished, and then she appeared shouting that they are eating humans. I know a little bit of Spanish. So that's actually what she was shouting. And at some point, you have to wonder when people that have been in those circles are saying that, and it's not just one, but actually several people saying that they are eating humans. At least you have to ask the question, why is this not being investigated? And there are some clues, and they are pointing at places where they have buried the remains. Why are they not digging up those places? Um, what's his name? I'll try to find it here just really quickly. An actor called Caviezel. What's his full name? Jim Caviezel, if I'm not mistaken. A few years ago, he made an appearance on. Yeah, there's a video clip that you can actually still find. And he talked about that. It's not clear who he is talking about, but he's talking about rituals of eating children. And he's talking about the screams. And after that, he was banned from Hollywood, not wanted anywhere. You have to wonder why. Some people would then say, "Oh, he got crazy." Yeah, that seems to be no problem for Hollywood companies. There are lots of crazy actors that they are using on a regular basis. And it makes me suspicious that they are not investigating this. Why are they not investigating this? And yeah, commentary from Carola. Your son says it's not proven. My daughter said it is in the files. Yeah, it's not proven, but it is also in the files. Yes. And I want to make it very clear that this is not proven. But it's still something that they should look into. Why are they not looking into it? Yeah. Caviezel was then in the movie after a long time of not appearing anywhere in that movie about child trafficking. So, yeah. Sound of Freedom, a movie that was banned by mainstream media, a movie that they worked against. Why is that? You see how this works? There are so many clues here, so many things that, like this. Why didn't they want that movie to be featured in theaters? Why is it not on Netflix? Typically these movies, you can see them on Netflix after a while. Why? So that's another clue, Jeffrey says, we need the rest of the Trump files to be released. I mean, the rest of the Epstein files. Yeah. Yeah. When I tried to, Carola says, when I tried to research about it, it is called conspiracy theory. How can that be when it is in the files? Yeah. I'm sure they are still like Wikipedia and things like that. And Wikipedia is just mainstream media, by the way. They're still calling the Pizzagate a conspiracy theory. Yeah, Kavisel is pushy Christian. Yeah, yeah, Kat, yes, I agree. But that doesn't really matter in this context. I'm asking the question, why was he banned? Why was he, you know, I might, you know what, I might be completely wrong here about, now I'm not saying that they were killing and eating people. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that they need to look into that. And why are they not looking into it? You know, that's we don't have proof of that, but there are so many clues here. Why are they not looking into it? Uh, Now, it should be easy. It should be very, very easy to look into this because, first of all, um, you have names. So, okay, the victims, the women, and the children are redacted with a black square over the face, but the people that are doing that, they have their names, most of them, I think. They cannot identify them. So what you do is that you get hold of those victims, the witnesses, and you use that to form a case against the people who did these things. And then you put them in jail. You put them in jail, and when you have them in jail, you have full access to um, interviewing them in the way that the police does, and to ask them about murders, cannibalism, and such things. So why don't they do that? There's much. I mean, there's so much that they could put them in jail for. And one of these people said that it's in an interview that it's not a crime to party with Epstein. And legally, that's probably, well, obviously correct, but he's missing the point there. Now, I remember none of these names, by the way, but he's missing the point because that's another clue, that's another piece of the puzzle. And when you have enough of those, it forms a case. Now, I have police in my close family, and that is how they work. It is not always that they have like a clear evidence for something that they did, and so they go and arrest them. Sometimes they piece together things from these clues, and that forms a complete, like an image of what they've been doing. If you get what I'm saying here. Yeah. Yeah, Jim Caviezel was also, yeah. So he was the guy in the Passion of Christ. That was a good movie. It's just horrible, but very good movie, I think, in my opinion, at least. Yeah. Um, let's see here. Yeah. Why commentary? Why are they not arresting them? Maybe they don't have sufficient evidence yet, or they are protecting each other since most of them are in on it. Yes. But as far as I understand it, as I said, I have police in my close family. Um, when I say arrest, not, it's maybe not the correct word, actually. What I'm talking about is um, going there and you get that person, you bring that person to the police station, and you have a lengthy interview with that person, or more interviews with that person. But they're not even doing that, you know? Why are they not doing that? As far as I know, they're not. And the only reason well, yeah, you could say, I don't think the police is in on it, but I think that the people making decisions for the police are possibly in on it. At least in the USA, you know, corruption, yeah, absolutely. They operate in such a way that they tempt people who are weak, and they get something on them, like I heard they use the term honey trap. So that's when you hire a woman, like, to seduce a man, um, and maybe that man is married, and then they blackmail that person, and they say, we will let your wife know if you don't do as we say, you know. Uh, Things like that. That's what they do. And yeah. Underachiever files. I don't think anyone needs to use any codes, except because I'm saying these words in the live stream anyway. But uh, what I don't want is any reference to narcotics in the chat, because first of all, I well, it can, as far as I understand it, that can get me in trouble, actually. But I'm not. YouTube is not open about these things. Um, yeah, I don't know how it works, actually. You have a choice when there is a honey trap. Yeah, but these are weak people. Again, they are weak people, and also many of them, they don't have any moral compass. And that's why they are used. That's why they are put in positions of power. Um, yeah. Now again, it's time we tear these people down, and we can do that. We have so much power, you know. Um, we can use social media for that. We can use our voices, on these digital platforms. We can talk to friends and family about this and remind them, because something else will happen, you know, a war or something else that takes the attention away from this. And it pushes them, it won't get the headlines anymore, and then people start to forget. But this must never be forgotten. We must not forget this, because that's what these people want. They are playing the waiting game, and we must not let them do that. We must remind them of this. It's it's like um, during COVID, these people who said, "No, I did not get the vaccine." So I remember how people like me was portrayed during COVID. The Biden administration said that they were issuing the statement. One was that before one of Christmas time, wishing people a good Christmas, except unvaccinated. We had only death and illness to look forward to. And one person within the police system said that here in Norway, not in public, but I know for a fact that he said in his workplace, in the police there, he said that the unvaccinated should be shot. And these talking heads are now, by the way, very eager criticizing Trump, as they should do, but they themselves said horrible things about those who were unvaccinated, making us like almost a subspecies not worthy of empathy. We must never forget that, but people have forgotten about that. I will not forget about that. Because when you do that, you are not a good person, When you do that, you are showing everyone that you are actually a person without a moral compass. It's like so obvious, but people forget. Biden did that. Yeah, or I don't know if Biden did that. I don't know if he could even find his slippers, but that administration, yeah. So, yeah, when it comes to we must remember, and you can even, here's what you can actually do. Take a piece of paper or, your phone, I guess, and you just make a note and you put the names there. I did during COVID. I did. You put the names there. In this case, just put the names there. Those who are in the Epstein files being mentioned doing horrible things, just put the names there so that you remember, so that you can remind people. Because a lot of these people, it won't have any consequences. They will be in politics, they will be in movies, they will be making music, they will be calling the shots in big tech companies, big pharma. It's like just making a list. Bad people, Epstein files people. So let's see here. Yeah, everyone's welcome here in this chat. Absolutely. Yeah, J.K. Rowling. Yeah, she also, the Harry Potter author, has a connection to Epstein. And I think that we must be able now to see a pattern. And the pattern is very simple. people with connections with Epstein seem to get very rich and famous. Now, I might be stepping on some toes here, but, you know, I don't think that the Harry Potter books are brilliant. I don't think so. Um, and when you look at these CEOs, I don't think that they are brilliant. I don't think that their ideas are great. They don't seem so bright to me. These actors, you know, uh, I, I think some of them are good actors, but many of them are just not good actors. They're just doing the same thing in every every movie. Um, but they are featured in every movie. So the pattern is that, you know, they get successful because they get put in positions of power, in positions where they will succeed because the system is rigged. And Epstein was the spider in that web. This is so obvious. And because of that, you and I will have a much harder time rising to that status or that wealth, and to acquire that wealth, and that because the system don't want you there. The system doesn't want you there. Don't and doesn't. It's difficult for Norwegians, by the way. Um, it's obvious, said Fred. Yeah, you know, and you know, it's like, now I'm a novelist, as you know, and I have seen how this works on a small scale. Now, please keep in mind that what I'm going to say now does not mean that any of the people I might mention were involved with Epstein. That's not what I'm talking about. Now I'm talking about the system, how this works. Um, I am a successful author. I mean, all my books are on the top 10 lists in Norway and so on. But I'm never interviewed, like almost never in Norway. Um, Never mentioned in when they make TV programs about literature and so on. I'm not, because I'm not in that group. I don't go to their fucking stupid parties. I have no interest in that. And I refuse to mingle and small talk with these fucking bastards because I think they are fucking bastards. Why do I think that? I think that because they don't have integrity. They care only about themselves and the other people in their little group. So they can go and screw themselves, actually. Now, I have been invited numerous times to occasions like that. But no, no, I will not take part in any of that. Um, I have been on such occasions and I see how fake people behave. And no, I won't be part of that. You know, I'm not antisocial. If someone wants to spend time with me, that's fine. You know, we can go for a hike, sit by the campfire, talk about the universe and whatever, you know. But they're not interested in that because they're not interested in you. They're interested in maintaining their position in that group. They're interested in their place in that power dynamic, if you get what I'm saying. Um, that's how it works. And a version of that on steroids, so to speak, is when you get connected to Epstein. And I think that he could make people very, very famous, very, very rich through those connections. And he could also destroy people's lives, obviously. And I think that a an important reason why people stayed in that system is that it was the system, not their talent, that kept them wealthy and rich and famous. So, not their talent, not their persistence and their hard work, but their connections through Epstein, through that network. Now, I'm saying things now that are obvious, but it's like I don't know. Some days I think, what's the point in even trying? Um, and I've come to the conclusion that as a novelist, my only motivation is the story itself. And no, I'm lying. My only two motivations are the story itself that I need to tell, and paying taxes that are written for me, that are issued in advance, by the way. Thank you, Norway. So, yeah. Um, um, oh, well, thank you there. You found my channel. Thank you, Jules Bulls. Thank you. Um, yeah, we do a lot. We keep going for our children. Absolutely. Uh, Green-eyed lady asking Jeffrey, do you mean that the US should investigate the Europeans and bring them to trial? I will actually answer that also. There is like an international, what's it called? When in Norway we have, I think it's called, hold on, I'll find it here. You'll have to be patient. Yeah, okay. At least in, well, there is something called Interpol, the International Criminal Police Organization, commonly known as Interpol, is an international organization that facilitates worldwide police cooperation and crime control. It is the world's largest international police organization. Yeah, so we already have a that. Why don't they move in here and arrest these people? Yeah, David. Yes, my books are available in German. Deutsch, German, yes, and Dutch, by the way. Jeffrey says Interpol does not have its own police force with authority to operate or make arrests on US soil. Mm. Yeah. Yeah, the international court. Yeah, so there are. They can do that, when people are criminals on an international scale. There is a collaboration between countries to do something about that. Obviously, um, yeah, there is, like crimes against humanity, and yeah. So, uh, well, no, your jurisdiction on U.S. soil. Well, then the police in the USA should deal with it. Then, okay. Yeah. Questioner, you want the police to investigate them? Yeah, obviously. Yeah. Yeah. All of these people. Now they need to construct a legal case based on what the witnesses are saying. Some of them are dead, um, because they apparently they were traumatized, obviously, and suicide and drug addiction and things like that seems to follow such abuse. But those that are still alive, they they should be interviewed, and they need to build a legal case against these people. Yeah. And when that is not going to happen, it tells you everything, right? It tells you everything. If you park your car 1 yard outside of the those lines where you're supposed to park your car, you will get a parking ticket. And if you don't pay your parking ticket, and you refuse to pay your parking ticket reminders, they will eventually, you'll get in big trouble. If you yeah, you don't only minor crimes will get you in big trouble, and they won't let you go if you don't pay your taxes. You Eventually they will come and get you and put you behind bars. So it's not like they don't have the time, or they don't have the resources, and they don't uh, it's obviously not that. You will be arrested for minor crimes automatically, and they'll never let you they get away with it. And now we're talking about people raping children, and they are getting away with it. And don't, even if there are people listening to this and they think that there is no evidence there, people have been convicted, at least in the USA, for with a lot less evidence than that. There are people probably on death row convicted with much less evidence than what you can find in the Epstein files, in as far as I can see. So it's like a proof there, right there, that the system is rigged and that it's all corrupt. So yeah, these poor children. Yeah, absolutely. I'll um, I'll say one thing as well here. You know what these people deserve? These people who were abusing children, and, well, not only children, but women that were trafficked there, they deserve to be put in a prison cell. And every day, for let's say half an hour, um, the parents of these victims, um, anyone actually, could come there, and the door would be locked behind them, and you could beat them up. Yes, I said that, and we'll see if this chat stays up. But that is my honest opinion, that when you do that, when you abuse women and children, you deserve to be beaten up. And I'll stand by that statement. That is my opinion. Now, I do understand that we can't have a prison system like that. I get that. We can't have torture in like, I get that, but this is me being a little bit emotional about the whole thing, right? And I'm saying that because we all know that these people will not be put in prison. They will not face consequences. They might face public shaming, but that's all. You know, so when I say that they should just be put in a cell, and I could volunteer. I could volunteer, and I'll go. I would go there and gladly beat up these people who have been raping children. Yeah, I would volunteer for that. Probably shouldn't say that, but yeah, um, it will never happen. It's just a fantasy. Uh, so you know, um, you need to understand. I don't like that way of addressing other people. I get what you're saying, but you know, Barbara, you're back. Nothing to apologize for. You're absolutely always welcome here. um, so, no, I don't know. I don't know. I probably shouldn't have said that, but I'll always be honest with you guys here. I don't have any. I don't have any such victims in my family, so it's like it's. I'm, but I hear that it's more common than we know about. Young women being what's it called? Like not abused, but yeah, a lot of young women actually experience in their life some form of um, like sexual aggression, like some people trying to take advantage of them, like yeah, I can't remember the word, but um, so it's quite common. But I'm my I don't have that in my close family, so but I can empathize with those who do, you know. Um, Ashton says, I'm in my down sleeping bag in the wind, minus 17 Celsius. Wow. Are you out camping, I guess? Yeah. Good point there, commenter. Every year in so many countries, there are thousands and thousands of missing children. Where are they? Yeah, where are they? What happens to those children? I guess some of those children, they are maybe homeless. They get into, drugs and crime and such things maybe, but some of those children are um, they're probably grabbed and put into these systems like the Epstein system, and it's truly disturbing. And I'll tell you another thing about that. But first of all, Klaus, that's so kind of you. Thank you so much. That's so kind of you. You are being very grateful. Um, thank you. No, I read in those files, which I'm not going to do anymore. Not in a while, at least, because it made me sick, and it's very disturbing, very disturbing. But there is an email conversation there, and I can't again remember the names, but one of the friends of Epstein, he is telling Epstein that we'll come visiting with some friends and a couple. And then he says they have their children with them. And then there's a list, I think it was 3 or 4 children, names and age, name and age, name and age, name and age. What does that make you think? Now, you might say that, it's maybe not so strange if it was in another context to say, we'll come visiting with another couple and they have their kids with them. But you could maybe say, they have teenage kids with them or small children with them or something like that. But why does he list the gender and age of the other couple's children? Why? That gave me, I don't know why, but that among all of these things, actually, that was like one of the things that made me the most sick to my stomach. Um, because it feels like they were preparing to get those children into that system of abuse and trafficking. And yeah, because why would he list, name, gender, age? Yeah, it's sharp canines. It's chilling. And I stopped there, because I thought, if you had read through it in another context very quickly, maybe you wouldn't have noticed, because it's like, oh, we're coming to visit, and there's this other couple, and they have their children with them, and teenage girls or something, teenage boys or something. Yeah, okay. But then, name, gender, age. So those children who thought that they would be going to a tropical island, who doesn't want that? You know, we're going to a tropical island to this millionaire. Wow. And then they come there. Who knows what happened to them there? Chrissy Teigen was a famous star in 2009, and she told all of this evil publicly. I didn't know that, but when we start looking at the people who have come forward, it's not like a single incident. Quite a few, actually. And what happens to them when they do that, they are then shadow banned in every context. Vikings were in the files. No. No. Yeah. Yeah, Alex Jones, he's been right about a few things. Yeah. Even the water making frogs gay. And it's funny because it is. It's a stupid way to say it, but it's not. All the hormones that women are using and all the hormones basically in the being flushed into the water is affecting the it's affecting the animals' hormonal balance. So you could say it's not making them gay, but it's making them it's doing something to their hormones that is not good. Chemical imbalance, yes, that David, thank you. Yeah. Birth control, estrogenic materials in the ecology, Divina, yes. Yeah. Yeah, Divina says that was Alex Jones' way of saying that amphibians had disappearing or indeterminate genitals when scientists looked at them. Yeah. Mike says if victims are refusing to disclose important information to the police because they are too traumatized to speak, should they be interrogated? I actually know the answer there. What they do is they have people trained in that, and they will interview them, and they have special rooms that make people safe, and they are using, like with children, they are using dolls and stuff like that, so that they can express themselves in a way that is safer for them. And it's heartbreaking, it's heartbreaking, and the behavior is also observed because children who have been sexually abused, they often have a special behavior. They have a certain behavior, and I saw that firsthand many years ago. And I think I can say this now because that girl, who is now a woman, It's been a long time, and a girl in my daughter's class at school, she had a certain behavior, and it was so we all noticed that behavior. So they actually, with consent from the mother, they issued a statement to the other parents of the children in that class and explained what had happened to that poor girl. Um, and yeah, so, and they explained, this is why. And so, um, so we know that these people, yes, they can. This also goes for adult women. There's a different way of talking to traumatized adult women, of course, but they're not being interrogated. At least in Norway, they're not being interrogated like that. They are treated humanely, and they can express themselves in a safe way. If that made sense. So yeah, but I'll never forget it. It was heartbreaking to see that behavior of that poor girl. And I remember I was thinking, and it was the father who had abused her, and I thought to myself, she had her childhood taken away, you know, or at least that innocence of childhood. Had been robbed of her. It had been removed. It had been taken away. Very, very heartbreaking. No, it wasn't Kevin, not like that, but she would have a sexual language and a certain way of moving in some settings that is not natural for a little girl. Yeah. So, and that's the closest I have been to anyone who have suffered in that manner, and it was truly, truly heartbreaking. And another thing that must be mentioned here is that this destroys people. And I'm sure you know that something that is actually very common is that children, it is common, but it doesn't always happen, obviously. But children who are sexually abused, when they grow up, some of them, like there's a higher likelihood compared to other people that they themselves abuse children. At least that's what I've heard and read. So when you know that and you look at Epstein and that system, it's not so far-fetched to imagine that actually even the victims were partaking in recruiting new victims and keeping that system running, if you get what I'm saying here. Also because of threats, of course. I mean, they were probably threatened with being murdered if they didn't do as he said and the people around him said. So it's sometimes a little bit complicated, I guess, when you are, I mean, if a victim, if a Like, for instance, if a woman who was herself a victim is were helping and recruiting new victims, how do we should we punish her? How do we treat her? What do we do about that? Um, and I think that it's sometimes a little bit complicated. But when it comes to these guys, Prince Andrew, Bill Gates, Donald Trump, and so on and so on, there should be no mercy. They should be in that prison cell, and every day the door is opened, someone comes in and beat them up for half an hour. That's their day, every day, you know. So that's my opinion on that. Uh, let's see here. KP Heathen is here. You had some health issues due to stress, anxiety, and a panic attack. Oh, I hope you feel better. You are such an important part of this community. And yeah, stress, I often say that I often say, I not often say, but when we have stress over time, it will always lead to anxiety and depression. And when we just, as men, typically, we just stay strong, we keep going, and eventually, doesn't matter who you are or how tough you are, eventually your body will give you a panic attack. Eventually. It's just unavoidable. It's just a matter of time. So I hope that you are feeling better now. Now, I've been in that position because I'm one of those stupid people who can't stop, especially when I'm approaching a deadline for a book and many other things going on and all of that, So it's, yeah, just try to take care of yourself and, you know, yeah, hope you feel better. Um, Now, I think that what's going to happen now is it's funny. So, okay, it's it's this is not funny, but it's funny when you think about how mainstream media, at least here in Norway with the crown princes and so on, I see that they are now trying to sort of start making her the victim. We are supposed to feel sorry for her and all of that. Um, but what these people don't understand, and it's funny that they don't see it. Jules, yeah, good night to you. Good night. What they So here's what I'm thinking. Okay, there are millions more of these files to be issued, to be published. I mean, um, and there are more things to come. Okay, KP Hidden, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry to hear that. Um, you're always welcome here, as you know, and I'm sure that it's going to get better. It's going to get better. Yeah. So more files will be released, and people will be reading this. And mainstream media, they see this now apparently as something that's in the news now. The people are talking about this now. And there is an arrogance there in mainstream media, or old media, as I like to call them. They think that they are calling the shots, they are deciding what's trending, but they're not. And alternative media, if you will, like people on YouTube and so on, they will be reading these files. They will be searching through these files, and they will bring light to the new things that will appear in these files. It's not over. It's going to keep going. It's going to keep going. This is going to keep going. And it's like, I use the Crown Princess Mette-Marit as an example, because she's such a good example actually on this. And it's like, now they think that, or the the angle that they are using in mainstream media is like, now this is it. This is all there is. I don't think so. I think there is much, much more to come. And yeah, so I mean, it's our duty to talk about this. And I'm not going to talk only about this here on this channel, but there is much more to come. And this will keep going for weeks and months. So yeah, even though the legal system will not deal with these people, or they might make an example of one, just to not make an example, but they might just for show pick one to punish, and then pretend that that makes people happy. No, the legal system will probably not deal with this, but we will have to shame these people. We will have to never forget these people. So you know, don't buy a Tesla car. That's one thing you can do. I wouldn't anyway, but it's like this Elon Musk, he really, really wanted to go to a party there on that island. The wildest party, he wrote. And at that point, he knew. Of course, he knew. And he wanted to go there. That doesn't mean that he's guilty, but that in itself is enough. Tells you all about what kind of person he is. So yeah, we should. He's the richest man on the planet. Let's do something about that. I don't think he will be the richest man on the planet if nobody buys his cars anymore, and whatever new thing that he's doing. Let's not take part in that. Let's not use X. Let's not use, what's the AI, fucking AI, Grok. Don't use that. Now, I'm not using AI anyway, but it's easy to tear these people down. I would like to see Elon Musk poor. That will probably never happen, but at least can we just do what we can. Elon Musk is at least fighting for freedom of speech. Yeah, maybe so. Doesn't help. It only takes one thing. He wanted to go to the wildest party on that island with Epstein. You can be a perfect human being in every other sense, but when you want to do that, it tells me that you're a disgusting person. You deserve nothing good. You deserve nothing but shame. You know, Donald Trump, I mean, come on. He's the president of the USA. He deserves nothing but shame and ridicule. And that's even if he, let's talk about that for a while, okay? Even if he, even if you think that he's doing fantastic things for the USA and possibly the world, even if you think so, if you're a person with a functioning moral compass, that should not matter at all. He's guilty as fuck, you know? So it shouldn't matter at all. Now, I know that in the core of the MAGA movement, they see that, or they don't see anything, but they believe that he was anointed by God, and he's a sinner anointed by God, and all of that rubbish. You know, if by some chance some people like that should watch this or listen to this, I don't have anything to say to you. You're it's too late for you, I guess. But if you're raping children, it doesn't matter if you're a good person when you're not doing that. That's what I'm saying. You know, it's, it's like it should be obvious. Um, Kat, I don't see what you're saying there. Wish we could at least settle on not believing Trump is guilty of many things. But he's like the main character in the Epstein files with Bill Gates and Bill Clinton, of course. And this Nikolic character was the facilitator in the system. Oh yeah. You mean you're saying? I mean, he's guilty. I double negatived that. Yes. Yeah. I mean, we must be able to see that. And also, if you in the past thought that he was a good person, I mean, I think it's a sign of being mature and a thinking person that you change your opinion as you receive more information or new information. And this is one of those cases where you are receiving new information and you should reevaluate your stance, your opinion. Trump mentioned, Sharp Canine says, Trump mentioned more than Jesus Christ in Bible. Yeah, and Peter says, even if Trump didn't do it, he knew and didn't say anything. Yeah. Underachiever says, cited over 5,000 times Trump. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Joe Biden's daughter said stuff. Yeah, Joe Biden is interesting here. I assume he's still alive. He is interesting. There is a story about Joe Biden that I read long before he became president or was even mentioned in that context. And he was a sexual pervert. And on parties, the security guards had problems with him because he would swim naked in the swimming pools and do stuff like that, and try to do things to other men's wives and stuff like that. And there is, of course, this case where he sexually abused a woman. So yeah, and I'm getting to it. He is not a good person, and when I kind of expect Biden to appear in the Epstein files, um, because it's obvious that he had or still has, I guess, this taste for children. And there are footage of that, a lot of footage like that. Um, he wasn't he like, yeah, his daughter said stuff like he was taking a shower with his young daughter and things like that. He, the footage is all over the internet. He's sniffing people's hair. He's whispering in their ears. He's like putting his hands on them, and you can see that they are clearly uncomfortable, these little girls. So I would not be surprised if he appears in the files. Um, yeah, Cheetah Man says it's why I didn't vote for him. It's why I didn't vote for him in 2020, but sadly, I think Trump is way worse now. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I don't see how anyone could vote for Biden. And then you had all the confusion with Biden sticking to his plan, and he was senile, and then Kamala Harris stepped in, and all of that. I think that I don't know. I don't know what to think actually about that election. Kat says, but that's not Trump level guilty. I think they're all guilty. Yeah. So, Clinton, what is it about American presidents? Um, when was the last time you had a president that was not a pervert in the USA? Jimmy Carter? I mean, uh, yeah, I don't know. And Obama is, of course, highly, highly problematic in that sense. I think people will look into Obama and his connections to Epstein. But I have not, so I know there is a link there, but I haven't looked into that yet. It's easy with the internet. We can no, did you hear that? I clicked on the wrong link. No, I won't be able to find it now. But yeah, Obama will have to look into that more. Now, Obama, I don't like him. There is something there that is not. I get an eerie feeling about that guy. And here's an interesting angle. I heard something about this on a podcast that the USA and the USA gives a lot of power to the president, right? much more so than in other countries. Like the Finnish president. Do you know who the Finnish president is? Even we have a president in Norway. We could get rid of the monarchy today. We would have a president, but he's a non-political figure with no power. So it's a different system. But the system in the USA with giving that much power to the president is based on, I can't remember the term, based on the president being a person of good moral standards. No, they said a person of men of honor, and that's what happens when you elect people who are not men or women of honor. Well, then you have what's happened now. You get what's happened now, So I think that, in my opinion, that it's not a good system to give that much power to one person. There should be that should be changed. Barbara says it's not supposed to be like that. The president is not supposed to be above Congress or the Supreme Court, but it hasn't seemed like that. Yeah, but when the president's political party has the majority in the Congress and the president has picked the judges in the Supreme Court, then he has the power to do what he wants. Yeah. So yeah, I think one takeaway from this is that these people who get so insanely rich and very powerful, they get into that position not because of their talent, but because of their connections, because they are part of that club. They are willing to partake in shady stuff. And because of that, they become part of that system where these people, they help each other, they push down competitors, they prop each other up, they dine with each other, they sleep with each other, they do despicable things together, and they live in a completely different social setting than you and I. If you and I think that if you and I, if we went to one of their parties, we would be disgusted. We would be disgusted. Now, I can tell you a story. When I was disgusted on one occasion there, I was actually invited to a movie industry party in Los Angeles on one occasion. I was in California and I was invited to that party. And I went to that party. It's the worst party I've ever been to, I think. It was disgusting. You had lots of women who were very pretty, very pretty. I must say they were very pretty. And they were just circling around, And then you had a number of men, and there was one who looked like a very tired old rocker, and he was standing there using some kind of narcotics, which I had never seen before, and I've never seen it after that. So I don't mingle with people like that. So when I saw that, of course, I left. I don't want to be. I don't want to waste a second in the company of such people. So I just left. Um, and I was approached by one of these women. She wanted to know what I was doing and so on. And when she didn't get the response that she wanted, she stood up and continued circulating in that system, and I was not there for a long time. It was disgusting. It was disgusting because not because I saw someone using drugs, which I despise. I'm from Norway. We don't see so much of that here, but I despise it. I hate that, and I have only contempt for people doing that. But apart from that, it was still disgusting because they were not there to have a good time with friends. Now, you know, I sometimes I am in dinner parties. It happens. It doesn't happen very often, but that's because I have some friends. I don't see my friends very often, but you are there with friends. It's a nice time. This was nothing about having a nice time with friends. It was only about creating or maintaining a system of power, and it just gave me a bad taste in the mouth, if you know what I mean. It was just disgusting. So those people, I'm sure that they are very unhappy as we speak. So that's their life. Yeah. So again, I think I used the term on steroids. So a party like that on steroids would be one of the Epstein parties, I guess, where they do everything that is illegal and evil and horrible. So, um, you know, yeah. So let's see here. I'll scroll up a little bit. Yeah, I can't see the context there. Yeah, Barbara. Well, sleep well. Sleep well. Okay. Yeah, Obama ape picture from the White House. Yeah, yeah. I saw that last night. Are these people? How old are they? 12 years old. It's like they're like 12-year-olds trolling on the internet. What? I mean, it's like, come on. I don't like Obama, but is it like a racist thing? This thing with oh, black people look like apes. Is that the thing? I don't think that they do, obviously. But I will say that as a powerlifter, and I in the 50 plus 50H plus class, I have seen some people in my class and in the higher weight classes that do look like apes, or gorillas, I should say. They really do. Um, Typically, the typical Scandinavian heavy set man with, you know, lots of beard and a brow like this. Like they look like Neanderthals, maybe. You know, it's a lesser known typical Scandinavian old man look. Yeah, those guys look like apes. They do. um, Big eyebrows. Yeah. Um, Testosterone is a crazy thing. Yeah, I guess so. Uh, yeah, big belly, big chest, and long arms, and not so big legs for some reason. On the older lifters, they seem to lose muscles in their legs, some of them, but they maintain the belly and the chest volume. uh, yeah. Now it's yeah, it's Obama looks like an ape and so on. It's so stupid, you know. Come on, it's like uh, I don't know what to say about that. It's very stupid, but it's not the first stupid thing that when it comes to these AI or these images from the White House lately. And the other one was um, a penguin holding the hand of Trump on Greenland. Uh, and it's like, no, there are no penguins on Greenland. That's the other side, down there, on the other side of the globe. That's the Antarctica. But sometimes I don't know what to say about these people. It's like, Trump said that, we don't want China and Russia as our neighbors. That's why we need Greenland. Uh, does he know about Alaska? Um, you already have Russia as your neighbor, so yeah, it's funny how that works. I had the pleasure of speaking with an astronaut, the first Norwegian astronaut, actually, a woman who is doing, she works with 3D photography. And she was on actually one of the Elon Musk space, do you say spaceships? Or is that sci-fi? Well, one of these up there. Um, and they orbited the globe from pole to pole, I believe. And she took photos down on, in the polar areas. Um, and I saw those, and fantastic, fantastic photos. So when you look at the globe from that angle, actually, you get you you see that these people in the USA, maybe they don't understand where Greenland is. It's not really very close to the USA. Yeah, it's close to Canada. it's not so close to the USA. And when you look at the globe from above, the Arctic area there, your perspective becomes very different. But I don't think they have. I don't think they're interested in knowledge. I don't think they're interested in learning things. Those people. It's like they have one book and that's the Bible and that's enough for them. So yeah. Also, yeah, Mercator's projections. No, Mercator projection. Mercator's projection, I think it's called. That's what makes Greenland look so big. It's not that big. It's stretched out, while the middle of the globe, like Africa and so on, it's shrinked, because you have to take if you took the outer layer of a have you seen these? You can buy like a ball to play with. You can and it has the globe printed on it. Imagine if you cut it open and you stretch it out so that it fits in a square, and you have to stretch out the north and the south, and you have to shrink the middle, kind of. And that's the map of the world, right? So Greenland is a big island, but it's not that big. Yeah, Divina says you can learn a lot from looking at maps. Absolutely. Jeffrey says, I flew over Greenland. Oh, lots and lots of ice and snow. Yeah, yeah. Almost nobody lives in those islands. Yeah, Greenland. They live along the coast. You can't live in the interior of Greenland. Yeah. Lingo crazy that Greenland has only approximately 20,000 population. I think it's actually 57,000. Yeah. Yeah, Frodelius is giving us some statistics here. Africa, 30.3 million kilometers. Greenland, and then some other areas. Greenland, 2.1 million. Lucy says, glad to be here. Please keep up the excellent work. You've been a member for 32 months. That is awesome. Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, I wasn't going to talk about Greenland, but it's so essentially they're going to spin this in the USA like, oh, we made Denmark do as we say. Basically, that's what they're going to say, and so we now have access to military bases, and we will be on the military bases and so on in Greenland. That's what they're going to say, or some very variation of that. But the thing is that they already had access to those. That was already an agreement from the past. So they didn't get away. They didn't get anything. They didn't get Greenland. They didn't get more access to Greenland than they already had. So, what's my take on Iran? What do you say? Iran. We say Iran. In English, Iran, I guess. Well, obviously, the regime needs to go because it's a very evil and violent regime. They've killed some say 50,000 people now during the protests. So they need to go. I don't think that the US attacking Iran will make that happen. Well, it might, but I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, the US closed a lot of bases after Cold War ended. That's in Greenland. Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Yeah, with Epstein files, it's just ticking in. You know, let's see here what the next thing is. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, it says here that the Norwegian Department of hold on, Foreign Minister was alerted in 2019. Now, the Foreign Department in Norway was alerted in 2019. That's the United Nations. So yeah, and it's like continuously building this. This is continuously building, and they seem to have the Epstein network seem to have been very much into the World Economic Forum, United Nations, and many other as well. So this tells us that something that we already knew. We can't trust these people, and also these people, they do not care about us at all. They care about themselves. So okay, but I kind of have to go now, and I'll have some breakfast now, I think. Yeah, it's disgusting. Yeah, I've been talking for more than 2 hours. Okay. Yeah, please check out my video on the main channel. That's in actually about 11 hours from now, as we speak. Okay. Yeah, fighting the AI slop, fighting the rubbish platform that YouTube has become. So okay, wonderful. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the wonderful conversation that we had. I will be back soon.